Hey, so Diana Adams here, and you're probably wondering why I am showing you a video of me painting when it's already, I am 30% in the painting, I would say, yeah. Before I realized that I wanted to take a video of it, because I've always wanted to do something more with my channel. Like, it's not like I don't want to, I just feel like I want to do a lot with my channel. So this is me gradually transitioning to that. And yeah, so if you could guess, maybe you could guess, maybe not, but right now I am painting Cinderella from the 90s version. It's my first time, and it's my first time seeing the movie actually. I've always heard some great reviews about it, but I never got to do it because I suppose I wasn't in the right I always had this I would say prejudice regarding watching a famous media or famous anything, because I always thought that, oh, maybe they like it, because I guess I was also pressured on that sense. And at the same time, I feel like I want to make sure that I see good evidence. I see enough evidence that it is actually good before I try it out. And for a while, that worked for me, but I knew that I was just functioning out of survival, I guess. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it, because you don't want to, especially if you're coming from a place of having so much anxiety regarding new things, you wouldn't really try out something new that you've never even liked, or you didn't like in the first instant that you've seen it. And so that's what I've been unlearning, or maybe not unlearning, but more of growing out of, because I can empathize, and I can definitely say that having a comfort zone is not really a bad thing. It's just something that would really keep you safe in a way. Like, you'll feel safe. So why not go for that, right? So yeah, basically this video is gonna be about that, like getting out of your comfort zone and stuff like that. Because let me tell you guys, I love art a lot, but art is very unpredictable. It's not something, for example, this part of the painting, I didn't realize that I had too much paint on my brush, but I kept going because I felt like having that much paint was actually good for this image, having that pop out, because watercolor is always depicted, or it's not really depicted, but it's always been a rule to build the image from the lightest to the darkest, which makes sense, I know, but it's still art. And from when I dipped on the paper, when I started doing that part, I realized that, oh no, okay, we'll have to work with it. We can't go back time. We can't do that. So we need to move forward. And so I did. And so I just trusted the process and all of that. So I would say that I've always been anxious about creating art again. It's been going on for a while. Like, prior to this video, prior to me reactivating my YouTube channel, I was in this place of anxiety and uncertainty that things will go well, because life has its reasons, or I had reasons that I thought would actually benefit me in the long run. But when things have to fall apart if they're no longer serving you. So that's what happened. That's been happening, and I do hope that it still, it still happens, because I hope it continues happening, rather, because it's the only way we could learn. And so, yeah, basically, for this kind of thing, prior to this, like I said, I started on I actually have a commission for a friend who wanted to have a profile picture for her website or for her page, and I haven't started on it. I actually started with a digital. Okay, basically I started, but I haven't finished it because it just doesn't feel right. Every time I do it, it doesn't feel right, and so I attempted on my iPad. It still didn't work. It felt off, and a year has passed by. Yeah, I have to admit it's been a year that that I haven't done a thing, or I haven't finished it, because it just, like I said, I've always been anxious on finishing something. And because of the perfectionist streak that I used to have, or that I've been trying to get out of, because I guess it's I wouldn't call it an artist thing. Maybe it's just a society thing. Like we all feel like we need to perfect everything that we need to do, and so that put me on a detrimental state, because it's for my best friend. It's for my best friend who wants to have an artwork from me, and that is an honor. That is actually an honor, to have. And so, recently, like this year, I felt like I need to go back to traditional again. I really feel like I feel it in my bones, to go back. And so I did. Gradually I did. I started with getting some watercolor, because it's always been the medium that I've always been comfortable using, because it's the only thing that I could afford, basically. And I actually have an insight regarding that, and I should probably say it now before I forget it. So my friend always has been telling me that actually watercolor is a tricky thing, and for a long time I never really thought or believed that it's a tricky or hard painting technique, because I don't know, it's because I've always used it, so I didn't think that it would be difficult for others. So for me, having a disbelief that whatever I'm doing is actually hard for others, it's like mind-blowing. Having I guess in the real world, or if we look at it from a real world perspective, it would seem like it's a privilege kind of thing, right? It's because you've been doing it, it's because you've always had it since you were born or whatever, so it feels like it's not difficult. But then, how would you know that something is difficult if you don't, like I said, right? Like, how would you know if you never really had the opportunity to be something else, or to be in someone else's shoes, for the sake of Cinderella's reference, right? So, when I started thinking of I should go back to digital. Oh no, I should go back to traditional. I thought of, okay, maybe I should just do acrylics. Maybe I should do real serious, quote unquote serious artwork or art style. Let's try to do gouache. Let's try to do oil. Let's try to do something else. But then, of course, art materials aren't actually that cheap. So that's one thing. That's one thing I had to consider. And over time, I did realize that you really need to just take your time and using what you already have in the first place, because it does humble you, and it's important to be humble in the stakes of using the resources that you have. And though I'm not saying that you need to compromise or that you need to be very I would say totally cheap, or like, making like if you have an opportunity to have something that is quite worthwhile, you shouldn't really hold yourself back from it. And so that's what I did, like specifically for the color pencil that I used here. I forgot the name, sorry, but it's actually a watercolor pencil set, and I've been curious about it. When I saw it in the art supply store, I thought, okay, maybe I should try this, because I've always been used to Faber-Castell, which is actually a very beautiful brand. It's actually a very beautiful material, but then at the time when I was looking for some color pencils, I thought I should get out of my comfort zone more, and that's what I did. So I went for a different brand, and so far I really like how what do I like about it? I like that it's not that powdery. I would say it somehow works like a soft pastel. Like, it gives me that impression. It gives me that feeling, So yeah, so I've been making the best out of the color pencils that I got, because they are just 12 pieces. They're the 12 pieces set, and because if I do go for Faber-Castell, that would be probably cheaper and with more colors. Why can't I speak well? More colors, but then there will be some what ifs. What if I tried this, blah blah blah, and so that's why I went for a different brand. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm just on this part, I'm just really experimenting what works and what. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what works and what doesn't, because once you apply it on paper, especially for watercolor, there isn't really much you can do. You just really need to sit down and just work with it. And so me doing the blue thing, it's just adding some accents on her hair, because she's always had a blue what do you call that, blue theme or blue thing going on for the famous and our most favorite Cinderella versions. Although in the Grimm's, actually her gown is gold, but let's go with silverish blue, right? So yeah, and also in the movie itself, from the 90s version where Whitney Houston is on, we have the magnificent blue for her. So yeah, I had to stick with that, and I really love blue anyway. So anyway, where am I going with this? Okay, so on this part, like I said, with my best friend's commission, I actually I already made a sketch. It's a bigger size. It's an A4 kind of. It's on an A4 paper, which compares to this is muchly more smaller. But the ones that I had painted on, had sketched on, is a bigger one. And for me, it felt a bit overwhelming, I would say, because of course it's a bigger piece. It's gonna be something that I can't just risk, I would say. But I'm actually, that's the thing with this artwork that I'm making right now here in front of you guys. I realized that there's nothing wrong with taking steps, with taking some small and dainty steps, right? Because it's actually gonna gradually help you build the confidence that you need for the things that you have big respect for. And for me, I just really respect the art that I'll be making for my best friend. And it's not just because she's my best friend, but it's because it's an artwork that she has been waiting for. And although I know, from my point of view, when I was making this painting, I know that I'm doing it for someone else. But then some other aspects in my life also reflected with this one, because let me just make a segue on this. It's just that when it comes to art, we always think of what other people think, what our guests will think, what our customers will think, or what people will just generally think about artwork. And that also applies to other things, like just the mundane ones. Even at work, we would think of what would other people think of us, of what our managers will think of us. But then at the end of the day, it's what, you can't lie. We cannot really lie. But once we want something, we really need to fight for it and not compromise and not think too much of what the management will think. Because the job that you have, we're getting technical here, but let me just explain it. But the job that you have, the management that you have with you, they should think of what's gonna make you happy. Otherwise, they're not really a good company. Let me just flat out say that. Right? Because if they do care about what will make you happy, then yeah, I mean, that's the point. That's the point of it. You don't really have to compromise. You just need to keep fighting for what you want, for what you deserve. And so I just realized that it's a big thing to humbly accept, for us to really grow as a person, because that's I believe it's gonna be an ongoing thing. We'll always have to make decisions, and sometimes we'll have to think about someone else, and we'll be prompted to think about someone else. But then at the end of the day, it's still most of the time what really matters is what makes us feel comfortable, and how we're going to approach that, and how we're going to see eye to eye and just, this doesn't work, or this works for me best. And then at the end of the day, it's still, most of the time, I would say, or how I would testify for it, is that things will work out for you, especially the best one for you. It will always be your greatest favor on what will keep you safe. So there are always some signs along the way that maybe this won't work because you are off in this path and this path, blah blah blah. I'm repeating, on this path or another path that it will serve the best. It will serve you more. So that's one thing that I'm also learning, that I'm also accepting more, because the universe is a wild thing. It's always been a wild card. Like, we're all created in different ways, and I would see that the universe is the same. Like, who knew that we would have a sun, that we would have a Jupiter, that we would have a moon and stars and everything like that? No one, right? We just learn them as we go. And even some new things that come into our life, they're just quite new, and we don't always see things at the same time, at the same place, and then we'll repeat again. Because if they do repeat, then it's just a sign or for something. But that's on a different that's a different topic. Yeah. So okay, so now I can't show. I didn't get to adjust my camera here because yeah, I didn't realize that it was out of the frame. But yeah. So going back to my best friend's piece, I just, with the help of this artwork, with the help of finishing this artwork, I got to recognize that I can still paint, portraits, that I can still trust myself in creating a watercolor portrait, that I just need to rely on what I know. And yeah, I just need to rely on that, because to tell you guys, on the artwork that I made for her, it's a sketch, and then I used I forgot what it's called again. It's like it's a paint. No, it's not a paint. It's a liquid. It's a masking. Yeah, okay, got it. It's a masking fluid. It's a masking liquid that you can use on paper so that it won't get painted over and stuff like that. You guys would know, especially if you're a watercolor artist, or just, yeah. So I did that because I was so afraid. That I will mess it up. So I did that and it stayed in my cabinet for a week or a month or so, because I was just really afraid. Well, I guess it's not a month. Okay, it's reaching a month. Because I was just really scared of messing it up and having paint where I don't want them to be. So, but then looking at the painting that I've done so far earlier, I realized that I don't actually have to be afraid. I just really need to trust the process. I just need to know that whatever I'm doing, I want it to look nice because it's my creation. And other people's reaction on it is something that I just can never, ever control. If they like it, they'll like it. What matters more is how much I like it. Because it's art. It's my art to begin with. And, making these bold steps, like what I'm doing now, like I'm adding some blue highlights on it. I did this technique a lot when I'm digitally painting, because it makes sense when I do that in digital painting, but I haven't done it in watercolor technique. Yeah, until now. Just to support the highlight on her face. And so when I did that, I had to wait for a bit. I had to dry it up. So it takes a lot of patience as well. Like you really need, especially when you're trying something, you really need to wait. And so that's what I did. Gradually using, from time to time, using a mini electric fan to see how it'll look like when it's dry. And now I'm adding some highlights with an acrylic, because I didn't get to buy a correcting liquid. That was the time that I realized, I should buy a correction liquid so it can be easier. But what I have is an acrylic, so it doesn't matter as long as it looks good in the end. Okay, so now I'm adding more details to the crown, or to the hair, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so I have no clue what I'm doing. I think it's on her hair. I think I'm adding something on her hair. It's like a sparkle. I believe I'm painting some sparkles. And now I am deciding where I'm gonna put the next highlight. Yeah, on her hair, on her eye. Yeah. And on her teeth. I actually left out, although I didn't forget that. Okay, I put on her nose, and I realized it's a bit out of the way, so I corrected it a bit. And then I took the courage, I mustered the courage to add highlight on her nose, and then I made that thing again, did this smudge on it again, but somehow it works. I kind of left it there, but for no reason. I don't know. It's just me describing what I'm doing. It's me criticizing it. But I suppose I started the reason why I did this video, doing it this way, it's because I don't want to just, I want to, but I want to make some documentaries. Not real documentaries, just video that I could showcase what I like to do. I love to sing. I love the arts. I just love the entirety of arts, whatever it is. Could be could be literature, the art of literature, music. I know that I will love that I love dancing. It's just that I don't know about it for now, but it's a good thing. And I love painting, obviously. I love reading, I love writing. So I want to show all of that in a form of film or in a form of video, because it's the best way to reach out or to create a community that who are also into this. So yeah, now I'm adding more highlights to her hair, and I realized that wow, that's a bold streak of hair highlight, and I need to commit to it because it's acrylic and I have no other choice but to stick to it. So I'm creating more strokes just on that side because I don't know, I haven't really used acrylic for a long time. So just me doing this is just really a bold move on my end. No other explanation whatsoever. Yeah, so now I'm admiring it from afar, I suppose. And I made that choice. And I thought, okay, screw it, I need to do something else. I remember when I was painting this, I believe Cinderella was the first Disney princess that I've watched. It's the first Disney princess that I've known. And who came after that was Ariel, was the Little Mermaid. And I realized how much of an impact the old Disney princesses created, And so me, who loves Disney and Disney stories and how they create stories and stuff like that. It's just really nice, to get to have the privilege to do the same thing with what I'm doing now. And I know that I'm just starting, and that's the beauty of it. to let yourself start, to actually trust the process, and just like when life gives you an opportunity to do the right thing, to choose the right thing, then I would say that it's our only responsibility for ourselves is to do it, is to choose to do it. Yeah. So I'm adding sparkles because sparkles are my best friend. Okay, I think I'm almost done. Yeah, I'm almost done. I'm just finishing up the sparkle thingy, and I'm deciding on what to do next because I feel like it's lacking something. So let's see. Okay, so I'm adding more hues, some parts of it. I don't know. I just really wanted to try something. So now I am drawing a butterfly to add some details, some small details to make it complete. Because actually prior to me putting a butterfly there, I thought of putting my signature there, but then it feels lacking. It feels off. So that's why I added a butterfly. Yep, butterfly from the movie's gown. I also realized that there are some similarity of some symbolisms in the 90s version and the earlier one, the latest one, which is the swan, because it does make sense, because it's like the Swan Lake, it's giving that kind of vibe on how the Swan Lake became this beautiful swan, even though they were different when they were young. And it's really, it is the vibe of Cinderella, if you think about it. So now what I'm doing is I am figuring out what else to do. Yeah. I think I'm not done yet, because I'm sure I'm adding more details along the way. And so anyway, since we're reaching the end of the video, I would just like to, to really incorporate, or like, look at me sizing up my autograph. Basically, yeah, I would say that in conclusion of this video, or like the whole message of this video, is to let yourself trust the small steps you create along the way. That there is no shame in starting over and really honoring the small steps that you make. Because like Cinderella here, our girl here really tried to just do the small steps, right? And how she met the prince, and how it started from there, and until she got her happy ending. And that we all deserve that kind of happy ending in the end. Or not really the end, but at least, to have that sense of happiness that you can only find within yourself. And doing that means you need to really get out of your comfort zone until you get to the bigger picture of things. So which is why I'm really excited. I'm really excited once I officially start on the painting that I'm finishing for my best friend, and me doing that in this video as well. So I'm almost done. I'm just signing it, with my name. And I hope you like my Cinderella painting, because I really enjoyed this one, even for a small scale, and I'm excited to create bigger ones in the future. So see you again soon, and nice talking to you, and bye bye for now. Thanks.